find in this area. And Dan.
And Dan? Yeah. We're taking Dan out? We're taking you out.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But yeah, we need to put Dan on.
Why are y'all using hooks and doing them that way?
Snake bite hurts.
Yeah, I've been bit by a snake before.
No, you're not going to No, perfect. The water snake's in there.
Okay. Can anybody tell me what kind of snake this is? Anybody? What is it?
A cottonmouth.
Yes, it is. This is a venomous cottonmouth. Laura has in her hands a non-venomous water snake. Go ahead, Todd.
You're doing good. She's trying. You're doing good. You're doing fine.
I don't like holding the snake and talking at the same
Okay.
time. You can do both.
All right. If you guys notice these two snakes, they're actually completely different. The only common thing that they have in common, the only thing they have in common is the fact that they're both dark. But if you look at the belly pattern on the cottonmouth, it's completely different than the belly pattern on the plain-bellied water snake. But unfortunately, these snakes get confused with cottonmouths all the time, and they end up getting killed. Also, has anybody out there ever heard the story about, their uncle's cousin's brother, sister getting chased by a cottonmouth? How many people have heard that story before? Okay? I just want to let you know that it's not true. They're actually misconceptions. The snakes, when you come across them out in the wild, the cottonmouth especially, which has the worst reputation of any other North American pit viper in the United States here, they have a reputation for chasing people. That's actually not true. They don't do that. What it is when you come up on a snake in the wild, a snake is going to go into panic mode because it's automatically going to assume that you're a predator because you're much larger than it is. So think about it from the point of view of the snake. The snake can only see about an inch or two off the ground, while that's its viewpoint. While you can see all around, if you're 6 foot, 5 foot, whatever. So when that snake goes into panic mode, it's going to take off in any direction. It doesn't care if you're in between it and its place of safety. If it knows its place of safety is behind you, that's where it's going. Now you guys notice what Laura's doing right there? If you notice, the snake is not trying to chase anybody down or attack. It's not even trying to strike. What it's doing is it's showing the inside of its mouth. And the inside of the cottonmouth's mouth is actually white, and that's where it gets its name from. There are other snakes out there that have white inside their mouths, and they will also do that mouth gaping at you. But that's a way for the snake to say, look, here I am. I'm right here. Don't step on me. They'll also wag their tail back and forth. Now, they don't do a rattle like most bluebirds do and rattlesnakes do. They actually do a wag. And they'll bang that tail back and forth on the ground to make sure that you're hear them. Does anybody have any questions about the two snakes that are out here? Now, where's Bailey? Oh, okay. I want to make sure he's there. I didn't see him. Yes?
Does the water snake feel like water?
Yes, they do actually. Both of these snakes can be found around areas of water. They both eat fish and amphibians. Your cottonmouths will actually eat dead fish after they wash up on the shore. They will eat carrion. And your Neurodia species, which is this over here. Out here you have two of them. You have your plain-bellied water snake and your broad-banded water snake. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you do have diamondback water snakes out here as well. So you have the three of them. But they can be found around water, but they don't breathe in the water, live in the water all the time. They still need to live on land, otherwise they'll end up getting scaled.
Bailey, if the...
Yes, a lot of people think the snakes cannot bite underwater, and that's not true. If you grab a snake underwater, you're going to find out the hard way that it's not true. A snake can bite you underwater just as easily as he can bite you outside of water. He's actually doing pretty good over there. But if you notice, he's not being defensive, he's not too defensive in any way. He's not striking or anything. He's just mouth gaping, trying to show Dan that he's there, so that he doesn't get stepped on. All right, you guys will go to the next one. The one way you can tell if there's a, all right, we'll start, go ahead.
How big can a cottonmouth get?
They typically average out right around 2 foot.
Oh, why does the cottonmouth open his mouth and his fangs don't come out?
Because they only use the fangs if they're going to bite into their prey to get a hold of their prey, or if they're going to defend themselves against the predator. But all they want to do is just show you the inside of their mouth. Their fangs are actually retractable, and they can put them out when they need to. Yes, but
The water gets like, so does the water. It's a cottonmouth.
say again?
Becker said it's a cottonmouth.
The same way that they do on the land, they use a side-to-side motion. And you'll notice too, if you're ever out on the water, cottonmouths will tend to stay on the top of the water. They'll float because they do have a bigger set of lungs than that, and they'll pretty much keep their head above the water, and you'll see them kind of treading water. Whereas the water snakes, their body will be a little bit underneath the water. Now, how many people here are born and raised in Texas? How many people know what this snake is?
Guys, stay
How
back.
many people have no idea what that snake is? Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. You live in the state of Texas, and this is the most common snake you're going to find in the state of Texas. That's right, it's a rat snake. It's a Texas rat snake. It's also now known as the western rat snake. They dropped the Texas, and the common name has changed. But this snake is the most common snake you'll find around here. And this snake is also the most common snake to be confused for what's that? Copperhead. If you notice, they look nothing alike. Absolutely nothing alike. But most of the time when people kill rat snakes, even when they're juveniles, they usually boast all over Facebook and social media that they're proud to say they killed a copperhead. But they look nothing alike. These snakes are really good climbers. You can find these in trees, bushes, up in your house, in your attic. They'll be anywhere that the rodents are going to be. They very commonly sneak into people's homes and houses when they leave windows or doors open. Whereas your copperheads aren't trying to get into your house and aren't trying to hunt down things in your attic and that. They're more or less going to stick around a water source or stick around an area where they can find good hiding spots in the woods. These snakes right here, has anybody ever seen a copperhead in the wild? You ever come across one? Have y'all ever been chased by a copperhead? No. No, you're not going to be chased by a copperhead. If you notice, if you ever come across one in the wild, they are extremely flighty animals. They will try to take off as fast as they can. Copperheads are some of the fastest snakes that we have in the world, actually. From your Osage all the way down to what we have here, which would be your Broadbends and your Southerns. And right now, how many people out there know somebody who's ever had the following? Alzheimer's, cancer, diabetes, heart disease. If you know anybody that's ever had these issues, there's a good chance that the medication they take for those diseases has some type of, or some form of venom in them. Whether it be snake venom, bee venom, scorpion venom, spider venom, all that's used in medical research. So there are medications out there that contain that. The northern copperhead, not this one, this is an integrated between the southern and the broadband from around here. But the northern copperhead right now, they found they're using proteins in that venom that's actually helping to stop the multiplication of breast cancer cells. So major breakthroughs are being made right now due to venom research. So the venomous snake you spare today could potentially save your life tomorrow. Now, this next snake is also a snake that can be found here in the state of Texas. So when this comes out, everybody here should also know what this snake is too. But there's a catch.
Rattlesnake! Rattlesnake!
What kind of rattlesnake?
Rattlesnake!
Diamond head.
Not a diamond head.
Diamondhead.
Diamondback, yes. That is a western diamondback rattlesnake. What's different about that snake? That's right, its pattern. It doesn't have a pattern. But this is a wild-caught western diamondback rattlesnake that came out of Mason County, Texas. So this is the average size of an average adult male. They typically stick around this size. That does not mean that they cannot get bigger. It just means that this is their typical size for an adult male. This guy right here was found in Mason County. Unfortunately, the gentleman that found him didn't know how to care for him, so for a year he starved him by trying to feed him grasshoppers. Now, what do rattlesnakes eat out in the wild? That's right. They eat mice, they eat rats, they'll eat cottontails, baby squirrels. If they fall out of their nest, they'll eat them up. They will eat, they'll eat, ground-dwelling birds, whatever they can get their hands on the ground. Now, definitely not grasshoppers though. So, but he's doing a lot better. He was on the brink of death. He was skin and bones, and he definitely was not going to make it much longer. He actually went an additional 6 months without eating anything until he finally started making the baby cottontails, frozen cottontails. We managed to bring him back. He does really well. We bring him out to the shows. But you can find this genetic out in the wild. Now, if you notice, there's something else that's different about. What's different about his tail? Well, it has brown. It's black, right? What color is the western diamondback's tail? Go ahead, Angela.
Black and white.
Black and white, that's right. They have what's called a coon tail. That's one of the nicknames for Western Diamondback rattlesnake. But because this rattlesnake has that patternless genetic in him, he does not have that coon tail. He's got a pure black tail. Anybody have any questions about this particular snake? Yes. Go ahead. Why is it shield? That's actually a warning. Okay? It sounds like there's something across the street from a car. What's the person driving to? They're gonna honk the horn, right? To let you know that they're there, so that you don't end up getting hit by the car. It's the same idea with the rattlesnake. Rattlesnake shouldn't rattle his tail to let you know that he's there. We're actually going to talk about that here in 1 second. So.
She's broke.
Why do they bite? Rattlesnakes don't want to bite us, and they don't want to waste their venom on us. They actually hunt, and they use that venom to help break down the foods that they eat. So if you're out in the wild and you come across a rattlesnake, that rattlesnake is not going to want to waste a bite on you. Now, what is this snake right here?
Diamondback.
That's right. That's also a Western Diamondback. What's the difference between this one and the other one?
It's albino.
This one is albino. It makes it look like a banana, right? Not so much a banana you want to eat. But this
She's broken.
yeah, she's broken. She doesn't want to rattle the last couple of days. But this is Nana. That's short for banana. Our kids named her. We didn't do that. But they wanted to name the Pokemon name first. But they got stuck with Nana. But if you notice, she's about the same size of an average adult male too, but she's just a baby. She's only 1.5 years old. So she's got some growing to do still. Now, these snakes will hit sexual maturity right at about 3 years of age. And every year they'll return to the den where they're born to breed in. And during mating season, they'll also return to the den where they were born so that they can mate. How many of you know what a rattlesnake rattle is made out of? Did you yell it out?
Skin cells.
Keratin, that's right. And what do we have that's made out of keratin?
Fingernails and
Fingernails, right? Our fingernails. So, if I look at this snake and I say, okay, she's got 6 buttons, does that mean she's 6 years old? No, that's right. You can't tell a rattlesnake's age by its buttons because they get brittle and they can break off out when they're going around the brushing at. Just like your fingernails will break off if you bang or hit them on stuff. Now, every time a snake sheds, a rattlesnake sheds, it'll get a new button. So, and their rattles do fall off completely. We have one that we're going to show you here in a second that's actually missing a rattle. But eventually she'll grow them back after a few sheds. She's like the easiest one to put away.
Yes.
I'm sorry? These are hemotoxic. Yeah, they have hemotoxic venom, which means that it attacks the blood system, your bloodstream. Now, if you're out walking around your house and you take a bite from a rattlesnake, what do?
Go to the hospital.
You're going to go to the hospital, right? It's better off you get in your car, you drive to the hospital, you do what you have to do, or have somebody drive you to the hospital, or dial 911. You don't want to sit around, if you hear that somebody else took a bite and took a drive-by, you don't want to sit around and wait to find out if yours is a drive-by. You want to make sure that you get to a hospital, you seek medical attention immediately. Nowadays, people don't typically die from snake bites. It's usually an underlying issue, whether it's going to be some sort of heart condition, anaphylactic shock, or anything like that. They are able to treat them. Now, does anybody know what kind of snake this is?
Rattlesnake.
That's right. That's a canebrake rattlesnake. You guys can find these right here in this area where you live in your own backyards. Now, this particular rattlesnake, her rattle broke as we were loading her up when we were leaving the house because she decided to be a little brutal. But this snake is protected in the state of Texas. You cannot touch, move, or capture or kill this snake. It's against the law. The reason being, the reason that they're protected is their numbers are dwindling due to human encroachment. You kids know what that means?
It means they're hunting it.
No, it means that we're building so many buildings everywhere, and houses and stores and roads, that unfortunately we're pushing the animal out of the areas where they're dying off. All their dens are getting buried in, and their dens are getting destroyed, so they have nowhere to go to. So they are a protected species. They're protected in quite a few states, actually.
So based on the number of buttons,
Yes, I mean, yeah, if you go by the number of buttons from Rattlesnake's age right now, this rattlesnake is dead. So, you notice there's a huge difference between her and Western Diamondback. You'll see that she actually has what looks like stripes, right? Very beautiful snake, and you'll also notice if you look at the back of her tail, there's another nickname for this snake, and it's called a velvet tail because they almost have a velvety look to the very end of their tail. Very powerful venom, but these snakes are pretty much laid back. They don't want to be bothered. Rattlesnakes are not going to chase you. If you see one, it's just passing through. There are people in your area that you may not know about that will actually come and relocate these animals free of charge. All you have to do is call them and they'll come get them. There's a lot of those people that actually been here that are in this building right now. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you are one of them. So there's always someone that will help you out with these animals. Does anybody have any questions?
Do you have to have special permits to be able to raise these?
There is a permit system in place to be able to collect them from the wild and go out and get these snakes. You do have to have a hunting license. It is actually against the law for you as a landowner to even kill one of these without a hunting license on your own private property. The thing, now that's any snake. That's any snake. That's not just this snake. It's against the law to kill snakes without a hunting license. That is poaching. If you kill them, you're actually poaching. Now, just like you would hunt deer or rabbit or anything like that, there are laws that protect all those animals. It's the same with these. The problem is, most law enforcement don't even know that those laws exist. Texas Parks and Wildlife is not pushing those laws, and they try to look the other way because they feel that if people are scared of snakes, it's okay to kill them, which is not fair to the animal, and it's not fair to the ecosystem that you take them away.
So what about cottonmouths and copperheads? You can't kill them either?
No, not without a hunting license.
They are not considered a nuisance.
They are not a nuisance animal.
They're native.
They are just a wild animal. If you kill them without a hunting license, you are technically poaching.
So is there a
I
snake
don't
hunting
run any
license?
poaching.
It's a regular.
I don't run any poaching.
We get everybody that's everybody around the edge.
What if they bite you? What if a cottonmouth or copperhead bite you? What should you do? Immediately go to the ER?
Yeah, just go to the ER. I mean, there's most envenomations actually happen. They usually happen to the hand. Okay, that's where most events. That is the number one spot that people get bit is on their hand. The foot is going to be the second one because people step on them or get out there and they don't see them, they don't move, whatever. A lot of those bites, there's more dry bites than there are wet bites than you would actually think. Most bites are dry bites, and that's because the snake didn't know the person was there, the person didn't know the snake was there. It was just one of those things. If you had no arms and no legs and somebody stepped on you, how are you going to defend yourself?
Right.
You know? So that's what it's going to do. It's going to bite, you know? Well, if it defends itself at the other end, it's going to be messy, so. But that's what they do. But if you do get bit, there's no sense in chasing a snake down and killing it because, I mean, you're just wasting time. You should be going to the hospital, not getting your blood pumped trying to chase down a snake. Now, typically, most envenomations occur when somebody tries to either capture or kill the animal. And one of the examples I give is, if Joe Schmo comes out and he comes across a 4-foot rattlesnake, and he runs and says, let me go get my machete, and he comes back with a 2-foot machete, you don't have to be a math genius to figure out what's going to happen. You know, so just leave it alone. Leave it alone, it'll go on its way, or call somebody to come and remove it, and they'll come get it. Even animal control in some areas do pretty good to come to get these animals. For the most part, animal control doesn't, but there are some areas where animal control is good.
You're pulling my hair. Thank you.
We're fixing the show.
They get average 3.5 feet, but you're fixing to see a freak of nature. So. Yes, sir. Yeah, we actually don't do the rattlesnake roundups. The reason we can talk about that for a second actually. The reason we don't do the rattlesnake roundups, we're not necessarily anti-roundup. We want the roundups to reform. We want them to reform because they take these animals and they actually pour gas in their dens in the middle of the winter when they're ruminating and they're sleeping. And that's how they get them out of their dens. They get covered in gas, they come out, they round them all up, they throw them into 55-gallon buckets. They take those buckets and tubs out to the shows, they weigh them in by the pounds. Last year they took in, what was it? 24,000 pounds of rattlesnakes.
Or so they say.
Yeah, or so that, yeah. But they no longer come, and this was for the Sweetwater roundup. They used to come from the Sweetwater area. You can't find a rattlesnake within 5 miles of that working. So they go all over the state of Texas and even outside the state. They collect them. They brought 24,000 pounds to the Sweetwater rattlesnake roundup. Not a single one of those snakes made it through the weekend. They slaughter them all. They all get slaughtered in front of people. There's a lot of cruelty that goes on. We don't have to get into details with the kids. Google it and you'll see it. There's a lot of animal cruelty that goes on. You know, there's nothing wrong with hunting. We don't want to shut down necessarily the rattlesnake roundups. We want them to reform. What we want is for people, we want for Texas Parks and Wildlife to create bag limits for them. There's nothing wrong with hunting. There's nothing wrong with hunting for sustenance. There's nothing wrong with doing that if that's what you want to do. But they need to create some kind of bag limit because they're getting wiped out everywhere. So, yes, ma'am.
Okay, you said 25,000, about how many snakes is that? Just a rough guess.
No, yeah, just, I mean, they average anywhere between a pound and maybe 3 pounds. So, I mean, that's a massive amount of animals. Yeah, I mean, that's well beyond a bag limit. They had so many snakes at the festival that 25,000 pounds, those were all the snakes that they couldn't use. And they still slaughtered them for the weekend.
Do they use the venom or do they?
They say they do, but they do not. The venom's actually tainted in the labs. Will not take any venom from snakes that gasoline is used on. Not only that, but the gasoline that they're pouring into the ground is getting into the soil. It gets down to the water table. It destroys homes for gopher tortoises and other animals that may use those dens that they're holed up in. So it's just, we're trying to get a ban on gassing. You know, there are people fighting for a ban on gassing. I'm not really sure exactly what went on in the last meeting, but Texas is not doing anything about it. All other states are banning it. Texas is not doing anything about it. Yeah, it's hard to change things in Texas. You know, Texas is very, very stubborn when it comes to, hey, man, this is Texas. We're going to do things our way. So, all right. This next guy right here. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yes, it could with the genetic, but it's not typical. Usually, it's going to be the upside of the snake, not as opposed to the underbelly. What? What was the question? Can they breathe? Yes, they breathe. They breathe through a hole in their mouth. It's called a glottis, right? Glottis. It's a little hole in their mouth.
Hole in their mouth, I call it.
Yeah, it's a little hole in their mouth. That's what it's called. Everybody calls it a hole in their mouth. But it's actually a glottis. It's G-L-O-T-T-I-S. But yeah, and what they'll do is they'll close that when they're underwater so that they don't take in water. But they do breathe, yes. Oh, you don't want to?
All right.
All right. I need everybody to back away from the glass. About another foot or two.
Everybody take a deep breath. We got this.
So this is Pee-wee, and we're gonna go ahead and take him out and let y'all take a look at him now. He is feisty, and the reason he's so feisty is because snakes are not aggressive. So you might as well throw that word away. It doesn't apply with snakes.
We got this, don't worry.
They're defensive, okay? He's very defensive. He's not used to the shows. This is only the fourth time he's being taken out for the show. So eventually he'll start to adjust a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead and take him out and show him to you.
Sure.
But stay back from the glass because we just don't want him to hit the glass and hurt himself or anything. Ready? Put it down.
This must be a scary snake.
Sure, hit him in the head.
Make him behave, maybe it'll work.
Well, anyway,
Make sure to stay back because he'll hit the glass with his face.
all right. Now this guy right here is a male western diamondback rattlesnake. He's been in captivity ever since he was real little. He's not used to being taken out and doing shows and stuff like that, but we're going to eventually get him accustomed a little bit. Now he's always going to act like a snake. He's always going to be defensive. But if you notice, he's not chasing anybody. He may strike a few times while we have him out here. He usually strikes quite a bit. But right now, what he's doing, that's a typical defensive posture of a western diamondback rattlesnake. He's rattling his tail to let us know that he's there, and he's kind of essing up. If you notice, he's sniffing the air right now, and he's bringing all those scent particles back into his Jacobson's organ so he can kind of get an idea of what's going on. He's not sure what's going on. He just knows that he wants to go hide somewhere. If you notice, he's backing away. Now, this particular snake, even though the average size is 3.5 feet, like I showed you, he's roughly right around 5 foot. He's just very fat. Well, I really shouldn't say fat. He's pure muscle. He's solid. He's not overweight in any way. Big snake. Yeah.
They brought food.
Huh?
They brought food.
You got a rabbit over here.
So we're going to go ahead and put him back in. We don't like to leave him out too long because he does get very stressed very quickly. Oh,
Probably about 15, 18 pounds.
I'd say close to, between 12 and 15, somewhere in there.
Go ahead.
Just get his attention that much. Oh, he just slammed something. Here. Yep, do that. Take your end off. Does anybody have any questions about the Western Diamondback rattlesnake or any of the snakes that we brought out at all? Really good?
Why was he flattening out?
Why? I can't hear you, bud.
Why did he flatten out?
Why do you flatten out? A lot of snakes will actually flatten out. They'll compress their bodies down to the floor as close as they can when you come across them. And they do that to make themselves look a lot larger than what they are. He's already big. He just maybe doesn't know it. Anybody else?
What's the biggest you've seen?
Oh, I found him over 6 foot. Yeah. The largest one on record, I believe, is over 7 foot. I think it's like 7.5 foot is the world record holder for the Western Diamondback rattlesnake. Yeah, but I have found just a little bit. I think we had one that was like 73.5 inches. That was probably about 10 years ago. But you're not really going to find too many big ones around anymore because they're wiping out all these dams. So they'll eat cottontail rabbits. They'll eat squirrels that fall on the ground. Any kind of rats, bunnies, all that stuff. Yes, they do have predators that will hunt them down. Coyotes will kill them. Roadrunners will kill them when they're babies. Raccoons will eat them and kill them when they're babies. What's that? Oh, coyotes? They're wild dogs. Yes, ma'am. The biggest one that they have on record for that particular snake is about 7.5 foot. Bigger than me. The eastern are much bigger, much heavier body. And, the eastern is a little over 8 foot up to the white ash. And that's a much heavier body.